What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. So there's a rumor going around as far as possible trades. There's a rumor going around that the Nets are interested in James Harden. I don't know how concrete these rumors are. I've heard um, Mahari Sports Nation talk about this. Shout out to him. I saw Ticket do a video about this. I don't know how true this is, but I mean, it sounds plausible that the Nets have engaged in talks with the Rockets for James Harden in exchange for Spencer Dinwiddie, Karis LeVert, Taurean Prince, and Jared Allen. Now, the only reason why I think that this might be, something to it, Russell Westbrook's already made it known that he wants to be traded. Okay, so if you're the Rockets, just having James Harden on the roster, um, it's probably not going to. You might as well just rebuild at this point. You're not going to field a contending team. James Harden by himself is not going to be. Um, there's no winning foundation there. Okay, so it would make sense. I saw a fucking article that basically suggested that James Harden would be better off without Russell Westbrook. And at this point, I'm like this. Look, I get it. Russell's a fuck up. He has low basketball IQ. I get all of the critics. You know what I'm saying? I take their points, and they make a lot of good points. But at the end of the day, what the fuck is keeping James Harden from being criticized? I'm somebody needs to explain this shit to me. Someone needs to explain to me why is it that James Harden escapes so much criticism? You know what I'm saying? But I think I know what it is. It's because he's been teamed up with some of the biggest scapegoats in the history of the league, at least as of recent history. Going back to Dwight Howard, right? Now remind you, Dwight Howard had just been, you know, castigated at the time for not cutting the mustard playing with Kobe, right? Soft and all this shit. So when things didn't go well in Houston, quite naturally, the sports media, they blamed Dwight Howard, right? They blamed Dwight Howard, saying he just wasn't a good fit for the team and he doesn't take winning seriously. You know all those talking points there about Dwight Howard. I'm not saying that it's not true, some of the stuff. But I do know this. As of right now, Dwight Howard has a championship and James Howard doesn't. James Harden, excuse me. Sorry, sometimes when I hear his name, I think of the Three Stooges because he's a fucking stooge. I think of the Howard brothers, Shemp, Mo, and James, because he is a fucking stooge to me. Um, but yeah, so what that tells me is that Dwight Howard might be all these fucking things, but he was able to change his game and get rid of his ego for the betterment of the team. Next on the list, we have Carmelo Anthony, another guy who is, we all know, a guy that gets blamed for everything wrong on a team. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't play defense, as if most of the great players, or most of the players, they play defense. But even though advanced stats, since I was going to bring up advanced stats so much, showed that Carmelo Anthony was one of the better defenders on Portland last year, right? But anyway, when he was with Houston, he was blamed for everything. His game is too old school. It doesn't translate to today's NBA. You need to be a great three-point shooter to be a good player today. And, that ISO mid-range game, it doesn't fit in today's NBA. And also, he doesn't play defense. So he was waived. Meanwhile, this past year, if I'm not mistaken, wasn't he either the comeback player of the year or runner-up to that? And that was despite him playing with two guys that constantly froze him out. Okay, two guys that constantly froze him out, and C.J. McCollum and Damian Lillard. And I'm not knocking them, but if you watch them, Carmelo could start off hot. He could start off 5 and 5 from the floor, and then he won't see the ball again until 34 seconds remaining in the second quarter. And then you wonder why he missed 2 shots in a row, because he wasn't getting the basketball, so he's out of rhythm again. But miraculously, he looked better playing with those two guys. Those two guys who were really ball dominant. Carmelo still somehow looked better playing with them than he did playing with James Harden. Then Chris Paul, another guy that gets, he gets praise, but he also gets some criticism for not being what people thought he was going to be, right? Some people tell you he's overrated, he loses, he's a playoff choker, which isn't accurate. Chris Paul is not a playoff choker. Unfortunately, Chris Paul has been in unfortunate circumstances, whether it's dealing with injuries or teammate injuries, going back to the Lob City days, or misfortune when it comes to trades. If the NBA did not get involved, David Stern and them did not nix that trade where he would have went to the Lakers, he would have won at least one championship with the Lakers. Probably two. Probably two. Then not to mention, what was it, 2017, I believe it was, when the Rockets had that 3-2 lead against the Warriors. And I think it was 2017 when they had a 3-2 lead against the Warriors. But then Chris Paul went down with that severe hamstring injury. And then in Game 7, they went on to go over 27 for 3. What happens if they advance that year? That's 2-3 championships that Chris Paul could already have, plus the injuries that have kind of taken away some performances from him. You can make an argument that Chris Paul would have been the greatest little man ever, which is what they were saying 10 years ago. But remember, Chris Paul was the problem. Uh, Locker room distractions, politics, and he's not a good teammate. He's causing distractions. He doesn't, and he's complaining about the offense, and he's James is shooting the ball too much, and it's Chris Paul is a distraction. So he goes to OKC, and nobody gave him any hope. Only person that thought that he would be able to do something, I give him credit, is Ticket TV. He's the only person I saw that said that OKC would make the playoffs. And they did. And guess what? They almost beat fucking Houston. And last but not least, the number one whipping boy for the media, Russell Westbrook. Russell Westbrook. If anything's going wrong in Houston, blame Russell Westbrook. And don't get me wrong. Russell deserves a lot of blame. I'm a realist. I might be a fan of his, but I'm realistic. I do get it. Okay, I see what people are talking about. But you're going to have to put some of that blame on James Harden, too. Because where are these 40 and 50 and 60-point games in the playoffs? That might sound extreme, but he does it during the regular season, doesn't he? He has a 30-point game, and his fans go, oh, see, he had 30. What the fuck is that? He averaged 35 in the regular season, 36, 40 for a month, 42 points. Remember that one month when James Harden averaged 42 points in the month? Where is that shit in the playoffs? Matter of fact, he can have a 30-point game, and it's the quietest 30-point game you've ever heard. It's quiet. You can hear a mouse squeak on the court when he's out there. His 30-point game will have no effect on the outcome whatsoever. Still a 25-point blowout loss. This is my thing about him, man. James Harden is a shameless scorer. You know what I'm saying? He's a shameless fucking scorer. And by that I mean this. Most guys who are great scorers, they either one or two things. Either they save their best for the best, like a like a Jordan, like a Kareem, you know what I'm saying, like a Wilt, for the most part. I know Wilt has a reputation for not showing up, but it's not exactly true. Either they save their best for the best, or if they do score big against a great opponent, if they do score big against a shitty opponent, they don't go around bragging about it. It's sort of like a dude that loves pussy and will fuck anything. You know these types of guys, they'll fuck anything. Most guys that love to fuck, they might brag about fucking the bad Puerto Rican that lives 2 blocks over. Well, they're gonna tell everybody that they fucked her. But they're not gonna tell you that they fucked that 400-pound girl that lived down in the block. James Harden type that will tell you and brag about it. And you'll be thinking, what the fuck are you bragging about? There's no accomplishment in that. What's the accomplishment in fucking some low fucking self-esteem having, stinky ass fucking 12-folded pot back bitch? What's the point of bragging about that? That's how I look at it when James Harden is bragging about scoring, or his fans brag about him scoring 60 points against the Knicks in a 30-point blowout. What the fuck are you bragging about? It don't impress me. Oh man, you a hater. Man, you just hate. I don't fucking hate him. It's stupid. There's nothing impressive about that. I'm getting tired of that fucking term hater being misused. A fucking hater is somebody that only, you know what I'm saying, a hater to me is somebody that is 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 obsessed with you, okay? They secretly admire you in some way, shape, or form. But yet at the same time, you know what I'm saying, they envy you. And they usually have some type of low self-esteem or something. And you know what I'm saying, it's a weird combination. And they want nothing but bad shit to happen to you to make themselves feel better about themselves. I could give a fuck about these people. As of course they could give a fuck about me. But I'll end this video on this. About this, let's say the trade did happen and he went to the Nets. I just don't know, man. You know, I don't know if it's going to work. I really don't know if it's going to work with him going to the Brooklyn Nets. Kevin Durant's the type of guy that doesn't have to have a ball in his hands all the time to score. You know what I'm saying? He's one of the greatest scorers ever, but he's not a selfish scorer. And he usually doesn't have to take a lot of shots to get his points because he's efficient. You know what I'm saying? I think Kevin Durant averages only like, I want to say 19 shots a game. 18, 19, I think it's 19 shots a game for his career. And that's similar to George Gervin. George Gervin was a great scorer, but he wasn't a selfish scorer. And Gervin was efficient. Gervin only averaged 18, 19 shots a game, but he shot over 50% from the floor. So he's making 8 to 9 field goals a game, as is Durant. Plus Durant's making about, yeah, 2 or 3 3-pointers a game. So that gives you 21, 22 points. Plus he's making about 5 or 6 free throws. That's 27, 28 points a game. So he doesn't need to shoot the ball a lot. A nigga like James Harden, he needs to shoot a lot. Okay, he's used to shooting a lot. Kyrie, yeah, he can dominate the basketball, but Kyrie's not a selfish guy either, though. Kyrie can defer. He played with LeBron. He can defer, but when he gets it going, yeah, he's a phenomenal weapon. And when he gets it going, get out of his fucking way and let him do what he do. But James Harden is the type of guy that will dominate the basketball, even if he's shooting 1 for fucking 15. I'm not sold on a guy that is coming off averaging 35 and 36 points a game back-to-back seasons. Now all of a sudden, you're asking him to take a secondary and maybe even be the third option. I don't know. I know if I'm James Harden, I'm thinking of it like this. Well, shit, this is my chance to highlight that I can shut people down defensively. I can transform myself and be the Ron Hop with this team. Well, I mean that's what I'm just saying. If I'm him, I'm saying that. I could be the Ron Harper. Ron Harper went from being a great scorer to being a great one-on-one defender with the Chicago Bulls. Maybe he can highlight his passing ability. If he had the right mindset, maybe it'll work, man. But I just don't have faith in James Harden, man. I can see it. I can see it now. He's gonna be complaining about his lack of touches, his role in the offense, and even though they're winning, he's still gonna be complaining about shit. I think that I'm a great scorer. I'm a great weapon. And I just think that I'm not being utilized. Shut the fuck up! Don't you fucking see we number one in the fucking Eastern Conference? Don't you see we fucking 43-2? What the fuck are you complaining about? You fucking selfish Rutherford B. Hayes bearded having bitch. Shut the fuck up!